Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be picking the books for my July TBR. Let's quickly recap June, and I can be very short about this because I've read everything from my June TBR. Because of Wonderathon I did a lot of reading, and I read all my books on my TBR like by the end of the readathon. So yeah, that's all very good. For July I already have a couple of books I need to be reading. I'm judging the Booktube Prize for this round. I've already read a couple of those books, but I still need to read 3 of them, and they are Foster by Claire Keegan, Carrie Soto is Back by Tayler Jenkins Reid, and Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. So I'm hoping to fit those in my TBR this month. And then also with our Wonderathon Roads team, we decided to sort of stick together and do a book club. So we made like a separate Discord where we're gonna do our book club. And for now, sort of every 2 months, we'll read a fiction book and a non-fiction memoir. So for July and August, the picks are What My Bones Know, if I remembering that correctly, by Stephanie Foe, and then the fiction pick is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. And I think I'll save the fiction for August because it's Women in Translation month then, but I want to try and read the memoir in July. So yeah, that's 4 books I want to slot in my TBR in July. So I'm hoping some of the prompts will fit for them. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss before. Let's get the game going. Rule number 1 is 1. And that is a sad book. So the first role was sad, which is one of the story graph prompts where I sort my books on different moods. I'm pretty sure at least one of the books that are on my TBR will be classified as sad, but let me just check. Yeah, Foster is definitely marked as sad on the story graph, so I can pick that for that prompt. Rule number 2 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a classic or a modern classic. Prompt number 2 was to read a classic or a modern classic, and I've decided to pick up Willowes by Sylvia, Townsend, Warner. This was a book that I hadn't really heard of before I picked it up, but I read the blurb and I was completely sold. This is the sentence that sort of sealed the deal for me. It says, "This is the witty, eerie, tender but firm life history of a middle-class English woman who politely declines to make the expected connection with the opposite sex and becomes a witch instead." Doesn't that sound brilliant? I can't really tell you what the book really is about, but just the blurb alone completely sold me, so I'm very excited to read this one. Rule number 3 is 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's an ebook. Then prompt number 3 was to read an ebook. Most of the books I have on my e-reader are from a subscription from a Dutch indie publisher, so I'll probably pick one of those. I'm not sure which one I'll pick. I'm kind of leaning towards picking one of the essay collections. They have a series of essay collections that are all sort of centered around people talking about books that they think should be on the reading curriculum, and then you have different themes. Like, do you have one that is sort of centered around feminism? There's one more on books from the Dutch former colonies. You have a couple more different ones, so I think I might read one of those. Rule number 4 is 2. 1, 2, the first book buying prompt, and that is a book I've read before. Prompt number 4 was a book buying prompt, and that is a book you read before. I always have this list of books that I want to have in print that I maybe listened to the audiobook before, or I've lent from the library and I don't have my own copy, or books that I've read years and years ago and I don't own a copy but would love to have my own copy. So I'm gonna pick one of those to buy. Roll number 5 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is The Well, which is where I use a reread for my next prompt. And that is a book with POC representation. Prompt number 5 was one of the special prompts, which is where I pick a prompt but then use a reread for that prompt. And the prompt was a book with POC rep, so an author of color. And my first thought was to reread the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, but I'm not sure if I want to start reading the whole series again. But maybe I will. And then some other books I thought about rereading were The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, or maybe Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. So I'll pick one of those 3. Roll number 6 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is another book buying prompt. And that is Indigenous, so an Indigenous author. Prompt number 6 was another book buying prompt, and that was to buy a book by an Indigenous author. Yeah, this sort of speaks for itself. I have a few ideas for this, but I'd also love your recommendations for books by Indigenous authors. Roll number 7 is 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's another book buying prompt. And that is a book from my 40 before 40 list. Prompt number 7 was another book buying prompt, and that was a book from my 40 before 40 list. I have a list of books, a list of 40 books that I would like to read before I turn 40 in just over 2 years' time. I'm gonna have a look through that and see what I feel like buying. Roll number 8. It's 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is Up Next Fiction. Prompt number 8 was Up Next Fiction, which is another prompt where I used the Storygraph app. They have an option when you look through your TBR where the Storygraph can give you suggestions on what to read next. So let's do that. I've got my phone here, that's why I'm looking down. It doesn't differentiate between books you own and books you don't own, so I'm gonna see which books I own and pick one of those. Okay, so one option is All About Love by Bell Hooks. Then another one is... Okay, and the other ones are actually all books I don't own, so yeah. I will be reading All About Love by Bell Hooks, which is an essay collection, all about love, I'm assuming. I've read Feminism is for Everybody by her, which I really loved, and I've also heard a lot of good things about this essay collection, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Roll number 9 is 1. That is a book from North America. Prompt number 9 was a book from North America. I could use both Demon Copperhead and Carrie Soto is back for this prompt, and also our memoir that we're reading for the book club. So I'll use either one of those. And then lastly, problem number 10 was a debut book. I have a few options for this on my shelf, but the one that I'm leaning most toward now is Skinship by Yoon Choi, which is a short story collection. And she actually won a prize for this, for a prize that is for debut short story collections. Yeah, I've been in the mood for some short stories, so yeah, also looking forward to this one. So this is the stack of books I've got right now. This is sort of a placeholder. I might read this one, the 5th season, or I might read one of the other books I mentioned. And then obviously my Booktube Prize books and the book club books are still on their way to me. They should be coming in the next couple of days. So yeah, I think again we have a very fun stack to read, and I'm looking forward to all of these books. And that's it for today. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.